Full slate of insiders for you. Chris Johnson, Pierre Lebrun, and Darren Dreger. It's rare to see a goaltender call out his team the way Anthony Stolarz did after the Leafs lost to Seattle on Saturday. Tons of reaction everywhere to it. But what was the reaction of his general manager, Pierre?
Well, first of all, I would venture to guess, James, that everyone in the Leafs organization relieved that the Toronto market's attention was actually on the Blue Jays for those 48 hours as opposed to totally focused on those comments from Stolarz. But listen, I did reach out to the Leafs GM, Brad Treliving, to get his reaction on his goalie, stepping out that way. And to quote Brad Treliving, he was frustrated after a loss. Emotion is good. He talked to his teammates, and we have competitive guys, so it's really not a big deal. It gets play in the media, that gets blown out of proportion, but it's nothing more than let's get going. I like that our guys are competitive, end quote from Brad Treliving. And this is just me saying this, James, but I think the Leafs probably wished this had happened a couple times last year.
I've never seen the media blow anything out of proportion,
No.
so that seems ridiculous to me. Out west, Vancouver off to a terrific start so far, Dregs, but little issues right now. A couple of centers go down on the weekend. How does Patrick Allvin deal with that?
Well, he's making calls. If you have a center available, you should call Patrick Allvin, the general manager of the Vancouver Canucks, because as we know, center ice has been an issue for Vancouver for quite some time. Throughout the offseason, preseason, now into the regular season, they've been looking for that elusive number two. What amplifies the issue is the fact that they lost Philip Hedl on the weekend for an extended period of time. Teddy Bluger is out as well. You just don't go out and scour the market and find a number two center. So Allvin is looking at all options, including the 3-4 depth guys, maybe number five depth guys across the NHL.
Well, there'll be no trade options to replace what the Vegas Golden Knights need to do here, Dregs, but certainly it's an all-hands-on-deck kind of situation. After Aiden Hill left the game on Monday night early, trying to make a save. They're still waiting for official test results there in terms of a timeline, but obviously didn't look good for the goaltender as he had to help himself off the ice. And that comes on the heels of an injury to Mark Stone, the team captain, who was off to a fantastic start this year. Much like the Golden Knights, they had points in their first 7 games. He's officially week to week with a wrist injury, but that one also looks like it's going to be some time. And so not only are these injuries the Golden Knights are concerned about, but those are 2 players that Team Canada has on the radar as well. So we'll be watching those situations closely.
Former Vegas coach Pete DeBoer, former Vegas coach, former Dallas coach, San Jose, New Jersey, and Florida. You know, I was going through his record, Dregs, and 18 seasons in the NHL coaching those 5 teams. He hasn't missed a season of coaching, so he's always gotten work quickly. Will we see him again in the NHL shortly?
Well, he'd sure like to be on an NHL bench in the near future. Now, keep in mind, he's under contract with the Dallas Stars through the end of this year. He's otherwise busy. He's scouting for Canada's Olympic team. He's an assistant to John Cooper. He's recently part of Canada's entourage, part of the site survey that went through Milan, Italy. So right now, he does have something going on. And you're right, James. When you look at Pete DeBoer's resume, he could look for the best fit. He could cherry pick, but that's not his approach. He will look at absolutely everything. It's too early in this season to put coaches on a hot seat, but if there is one in the near future, then he wants to be considered.
Pete DeBoer's gotten around a little bit. Rod Brindamore's been a Carolina guy forever, and the team looks great again so far this year. And is it fair to say, Pierre, they're all in once again as far as going out and get whatever pieces they need?
Yeah, I got to keep an eye on those Hurricanes, James. You may remember a year ago when they traded for Mikko Rantanen, that shocked the hockey world, but that's who they are. And then, of course, they turned around and flipped him after they couldn't sign him. They tried to trade for Mitch Marner. And yes, last month when Kaprizov turned down the first offer from the Minnesota Wild, I can confirm that the Hurricanes picked up the phone and checked in with Minnesota because they would have swung big for him. But of course, that was not a trade opportunity for them. For now, I'm told they don't see that big name out there on the market after all these big names have signed. So they feel they're going to focus with what they have here. They think their lineup is very deep. When I talk to other teams around the league, they wonder about the goaltending. Is Freddie Anderson going to be healthy enough? And the answer from within in Carolina is they believe in him. They think this is the year he stays healthy, that he can be the guy that brings them deep and over the hump come playoff time. Other people aren't so sure.
Finally lost a hockey game, but still tied for first in the Eastern Conference. Insider Trading.